Yummy. What's going on, duelists? Super Insane 18 here, and today we are going to be bringing you the Yummy deck profile. This is one of the highest anticipated decks that we have had in a while out of the Justice Hunter set, involving these adorable little dessert cats. So let's go ahead and jump on in. To kick off the deck profile, we are of course on 3 copies of our Cupsy Yummy, being our searcher. We are on 2 or 3 copies of our Cupsy Yummy, being a potential interruption, and we are on 3 copies of our Lollipo Yummy as well, and the reason we are maxing out on all of them is because they are 1-card combos no matter which one of them you draw. Now, admittedly, the Cupsy is the best one, so go ahead and stick around till the end because I will be showcasing the Cupsy Yummy combo after we get through the deck profile. Moving on, we have just 3 more regular monsters in the deck, and that is going to be Kashtira Fenrir. Now, admittedly, Fenrir is the flex spot of this deck. Now, the reason that I have chosen to utilize Fenrir is because it is a very good card whether you are going first or second. If you go first, it is another interruption on your end board. If you go second, it is a board breaker, and going into the upcoming format, it is very, very strong. It does interrupt Yummy quite a bit, and it is also very strong into something like Canine Vanquish Soul, because all of their effects have to activate, so when they bounce a card for the Vanquish Souls or when they summon the Canines from hand, you will be able to utilize Fenrir to clear a threat off of the board. Now we have a handful of hand traps. We are on 3 copies of Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring, 3 copies of Molcharmy Fuelos, and 3 copies of Molcharmy Perulia. There is no reason to not max out on the best legal maxis that we have in the format, but that's going to do it for the monsters. Onto the spells, we of course have our Yummy Surprise. This is additional interruption on the end board as well, which is really, really strong. And then we have 1 of each of our field spells, the Mignon and the Croquet, or however you pronounce this card. I genuinely don't know, but these not only help you extend, but also provide additional interruptions on your opponent's field, or on your opponent's turn as well, which you will see in the combo. We are on 3 copies of Obedience Schooled. This is again a 1-card starter, so we have, I believe it's 15 or 16, I think it's 16 1-card combos in the deck, so a very high percentage that you will actually be able to see it and play through your combo. Which, speaking of 1-card combos, we are on 3 copies of Engage with a single copy of Hornet Drones, because there's a really funny interaction since you can use level 1 synchros, or level 1 links rather, as tuners for your synchros. If you Hornet Drones into Kagari into Hornet Drones, that equals any of your Yummy synchro monsters, which is again full combo. We are on a few 1-ofs with Called by the Grave, Pot of Prosperity, and Triple Tactics Talent. Called by the Grave is Called by the Grave, Prosperity is an additional consistency piece, and Talents is just incredibly strong in this format because everybody's activating effects during the opponent's turn, whether that be a hand trap or other interruptions that you have built on your end board. Just an incredibly strong card. We are on 3 copies of Dominus Purge. Yes, these are proxies. I unfortunately do not have them, but it is a very, very strong card, and the only thing that it really conflicts with is going to be your Kagari, but you don't really need to use the Kagari at that point. You can just use the Hornet Drones as an additional level 1. And finishing up the main deck, we are on 3 copies of Infinite Impermanence, making 40 cards. Let's show you guys the extra. Moving on to the extra deck, we are playing 1 each of the Synchro monsters. That is, of course, going to be 1 Cupsy Yummy Way, 1 Cookie Yummy Way, and 1 Lollipo Yummy Way. You are pretty much going to be going through all of these in your first turn. 2 of them, definitely 1 of them will be summoned on your opponent's turn, but there is a lot of recursion that this deck has to offer as well, so you never really need to play more than 1. Then we are on a copy of Martial Metal Marcher. This is an extender that allows you to reborn a tuner, and because you can reborn your tuners, you can get further into your combo and summon out your Omni Negates, which we will get to. We are on our 1 copy of Shamisen Samsara Sorrow Cat. This is again just a way to synchro during your opponent's turn, which is very, very strong in case maybe your Yummies get interrupted. But onto the Heart and Soul of the extra deck, we have our 2 copies of Herald of the Arclight. Now, this is a really cool card because it is not only an Omni Negate, but a pseudo Floodgate as well, having a Macro Cosmos-like banish effect for your opponent, but also being able to tribute itself to just negate anything that your opponent does. You will end your board on one of them, and you will summon the other during your opponent's turn, so you'll have 2 Omni Negates after your combo's done. we are on 3 copies of Yummy Snatchy. Now, this is something that some people will debate can be played at 2. I just really like it because it is consistency. Any of your guys just turn into it, and then you can combo, which is really, really strong. Then we have our 1 copy of Kagari for the small striker engine that goes into your full combo. The final link ones we have are the Link Spider and the Relinquished Anima. This is for like the Nibiru token or whatever they give you, and then an Anima is really good because we're playing a level 1 deck. We do have 2 Link 2s. We have the Uka no Mitsune no Inari, and of course the SP Little Knight. SP Little Knight doesn't need any introduction or explanation, but the no Inari is really, really cool for several reasons. It protects your field spells, it resets your surprise, and it can act as an interruption as well. So just a really, really strong card. But without further ado, let's show you guys the combo. Alright, now for the combo, it is a 1.5 card combo utilizing Cupsy and any card to discard. I'm showing specifically Fenrir here because I want to mention something that I forgot to mention during the deck profile, which is another really cool utility of the Fenrir is because the combo requires a discard, you can start your turn by specialing the Fenrir, using Fenrir effect to add another copy of Fenrir, and then that acts as your discard, and you have an additional interruption on the end board as well. But we're not going to do that, I just wanted to mention it, which is why the Fenrir is here. So let's show you guys how we do it. We will start off with a normal summon of the Cupsy Yummy, which will activate its effect to add from deck to hand our copy of Yummy Surprise. We can then go ahead and link off the Cupsy into our copy of Yummy Snatchy, which Snatchy will then go ahead and allow us to play our copy of Minion from our deck. We can then utilize the effect of Minion to reborn out our Cupsy, and because of the way that the synchros work, allowing you to use a Link 1 as a tuner, we can take the Yummy Snatchy and the Cupsy, and we can synchro those into our copy of Cupsy Yummy Way. Now, on summon of the Cupsy Yummy Way, we can go ahead and add 2 cards, being the Cookie and the Lollipo, to our hand from our deck, and this is where that discard comes in, so we'll go ahead and just get rid of whatever card that we want. We can then go ahead and just special summon out the Cookie Yummy because we control the Synchro, and then we can take the Synchro and link that off into our second copy of Yummy Snatchy. Now with Yummy Snatchy, we can go ahead and once again Synchro Summon, utilizing it as a level 1 tuner. This is going to go into our copy of Lollipo Yummy Way. Lollipo is going to activate its effect on summon, allowing us to summon back out our Cookie and our Cupsy. And with those on the board, we can then go ahead and utilize the Cupsy and the Lollipo, or the Cookie, it really doesn't matter what, but we are going to be Synchro Summoning into a copy of Martial Metal Marcher. Now, Martial Metal Marcher on summon is going to allow us to go ahead and reborn out any of our tuners. It does not matter which one, because now we get to make sure that we can no longer be Nibiru'd for the remainder of the turn. We are going to take the Martial and the Cookie Yummy, and that is going to Synchro into our first copy of Herald of the Arclight, and now what we can do is special summon out our Lollipo Yummy Way, or Lollipo Yummy, and we will link off our last Synchro into another Yummy Snatchy so that we have quick effect to Synchro during our opponent's turn. We can go ahead and set our surprise and end our turn. Now, this doesn't really look like that strong of an end board, but this is absolutely insane. Keep in mind you still have 3 cards left in your hand, and let me show you how this plays out during the opponent's turn. So now it is our opponent's turn, and let's show you guys what we can do. First and foremost, we have the Herald of the Arclight, which is not only a floodgate, being a banish from hand or deck whenever they try to go to the graveyard, but it is also an omni-negate, meaning that you can just stop whatever your opponent wants to do as you see fit. But we have some other options as well. We can always use the effect of the Yummy Snatchy to pay 100 and Synchro Summon using the Lollipo and itself. This is going to go into our copy of Cookie Yummy Way. Now, Cookie Yummy Way on summon is going to put up to 2 monsters your opponent controls face down, so you just get to Book of Moon those guys, and they become almost unusable depending on what deck your opponent is playing. So you not only get the interruption, but clogging their zones as well, which in this format can be very, very strong when you see something like Canine Vanquish Soul that uses literally everything on their board. But that is not it, because once again, when our opponent activates anything, we can utilize the effect of Cookie Yummy Way to tag itself out, bouncing it back to the extra deck. This is going to summon out any of our synchros. Usually Cupsy is better to go first, and the copy of Cookie. So now we are getting additional bodies on the board, but that also equates to another interruption, because if the cookie is special summoned by the effect of one of the synchros, you get to pop a card instead of just making it lose 1,000. So now we just got a destruction on top of those 2 face downs, and we still haven't used our Omni Negate yet. Once again, when our opponent utilizes anything, we can use our Cupsy effect to tag itself out. This is going to allow us to summon back out our Lollipo synchro and our copy of Yummy Snatchy. Again, now we have even more bodies on board, but we have got access to our quick synchro again and another tag out, which is going to be very important. What we can do here though is, because the Snatchy was summoned, we can go ahead and replace our minion with the other field spell, the Croquet, or however it's pronounced, which will eventually lead to an additional interruption as well, because it can pop a card when we synchro summon. Once more, when our opponent utilizes literally anything, we can use the Lollipo Yummy Way. This is going to allow us to summon back out our Cupsy as well as a Yummy Snatchy, and what we can do here is we can activate the Cupsy Yummy to either add a specific card, or we can utilize it to draw any card. The card drawn does not matter, but it essentially just replaces whatever it is you discarded, and now we are good to continue playing. Now, at this point, you probably want to find a reason to utilize your Herald of the Arclight, just because we are starting to clog the board, and we want the additional room before we use any of the Snatchies to synchro summon. So we'll say that you use the Herald of Arclight to negate something at any point throughout all of this. But what that does for us now is we can utilize one of the Yummy Snatchies. This is going to go ahead and allow us to synchro summon into our copy of Lollipo that we had just shuffled back, and that gives us 2 things that we can do. We can use Chainlink 1 Lollipo and Chainlink 2 a Croquet, and that is going to pop a card, and then we will be able to summon back 2 of our monsters from the graveyard. So again, we have a full board, and we can still continue going. Here, what we can do is pay another 100 life points off of the effect of Snatchy, and then utilizing the Lollipo and 2 of our level 1s, we can go into our additional copy of Herald of the Arclight, turning back on that Macrocosmos-like Floodgate, as well as giving us an additional Omni Negate, and the final interruption that we have is the Surprise, which will be able to bounce 2 cards that our opponent has by bouncing ours as well. And yeah, so that is a ton of interruptions off of a single card, multiple Omni Negates, multiple bounces, multiple Book of Moons. You recover your resources with the draw, and you're pretty much just good to continue your game. This is absolutely insane and absolutely incredible. And there you guys have it. That is going to be my Yummy deck profile for the upcoming format. Now, this deck is really cool, being able to do so much off of so little, and even on what looks like a lackluster end board, being able to just absolutely explode as we showcased in the combo. So you guys know the deal. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to subscribe, hit the notification bell, like, comment, and share with your friends. And as always, don't forget to check out the channel sponsor Dueling Guard using my code Insane18 or the link in the description down below. You can help to continue to support the channel so I can bring you guys more amazing content like this. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.